Okay. You better be careful what you're saying.
You're the one that said it was a good year.
I thought it was a good year. I don't know. I was totally kidding. What's up, everybody?
Are we live now?
We're live.
Okay.
I think we're live.
You think we're live?
It says we're live.
Okay.
So I'm going to try to go see our live video right now.
I see a chat.
You see a chat?
Yep. Monk16 says hi. Oh, is that our TikTok chat?
No, this is just...
That's our YouTube chat?
I haven't started the TikTok chat yet.
Okay. What's up, Monk16?
How's the audio out there?
He's echoing a little.
Who's echoing?
I'm echoing or he's echoing?
I might be. Why is it always me?
Why is it always you?
I don't know. I don't understand.
I don't get it either.
I don't get it. If we kill this, is that better? That's just the YouTube stuff that we have. What's up, everybody?
That sounds better to me.
This sounds better to you?
Yeah.
Okay. That might be better. It's hard to really tell because I can't hear it, but maybe that will work.
It sounds better to me.
Oh, that's much better. Yeah, that's way better.
What's up, everybody?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, cool.
All right.
Black shirt. I guess it does kind of look black, doesn't it? It's like a blue.
It's navy.
It's like a dark blue. It looks kind of weird on camera, though, I guess.
Actually, that's something that they teach us about in photojournalism school is you got to be careful what shirts people are wearing. Tight striped shirts are another one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you don't ever want to select people
I
for
could
a
take my
live
shirt
interview.
off if I need to.
Yeah. Yeah, go for
I
it.
wonder if that's okay in the... I wonder if that's okay. It's not really what we're here to,
You're going
we're
to
here to
violate the
discuss.
YouTube community policies.
Yeah, that's right. I'm going to hit the go live on TikTok, and I guess we'll see if what that looks like.
Can we monitor the chats on there too?
I don't know.
Okay.
If you
This
guys
is
are
all
coming
a
from
learning experience for us.
TikTok, we really appreciate it. We've kind of been over on TikTok. Now we're kind of going over to YouTube. So it's been kind of a back and forth for us. I don't know.
He doesn't know.
I don't know nothing.
He doesn't know nothing.
About edit. There it goes. It's uploaded.
Okay.
I don't know how to change this update. Maybe I'll just
don't
leave
worry
it.
about that. Just leave that.
And
Boom. Choose.
I don't know what else to do here.
Podcast.
Where
Can
did it say
you,
that?
can you scroll up a little bit?
Yeah.
Topic. Choose. Click choose. Nope. Click choose.
Gaming? What do you usually do?
If you do gaming, then you have to pick a game. You have
Oh.
to pick a category. I would just go with the chat, the one up top, chat and interview. Yeah,
Okay.
that's fine.
Okay, I guess we'll hit go live.
Okay, do it.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Awesome.
And then, okay, there's our TikTok live comments. Cool.
Awesome. Okay, what are we talking about today?
Well, we were having a conversation earlier
Yeah.
about PC VR and the death of it and why it's dying. And if there's anything that PC VR can do to keep up. Now, when we say PC VR, we're kind of speaking broadly about a bunch of different brands and companies.
Yep.
But I think when most people think about PC VR, they're thinking about Steam VR specifically. Nobody's really talking about Windows mixed reality when they're talking about PC VR.
Right.
Right. So the question is, what did they do wrong?
Well, first off, I want to say that when we first got into this, we were...
Can you move the microphone up just a little bit?
Yeah. Probably turn the gain up a little bit here. How about now? You hear it okay?
That's better. Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, when we first started out, we didn't really have any idea this is the direction that was going to go. I feel like we had originally gotten to VR, and it was all PC VR for us at the store in Montana.
Well, when we got into VR, in order to play VR, you either had the developer kit, or you had, or you were in some sort of arcade with proprietary equipment, which is kind of what we fell into.
Yep.
And so they had the Vive models. The Vive Pro hadn't come out yet.
Right.
I feel like there's more echo now for some reason. Like it's gone up for something.
Uh-oh.
Yeah,
Is that better?
that was it. Yeah, I was picking up on your
okay.
microphone. So,
I see.
but I feel like, yeah, we had the Vives. The Valve Index hadn't come out. The Vive Pros hadn't come out. The Oculus hadn't come out.
No.
There was the Rift, which was a PC VR headset, and the Vive. And in order to run either of those headsets, you had to have a PC. So in a lot of ways, VR was kind of gatekept by the PC, is that you had to have one in order to access the virtual world. And so there was no Meta store. There was no Meta really, because back then it was Facebook.
That's right. There wasn't any Meta. Yeah.
So it was Facebook, and there was talk about a standalone headset, but that hadn't happened yet.
That's right. Yeah.
Right. So one thing that PC VR really had going for it, and still kind of has going for it, I've actually got some statistics that I wanted to bring up so we could talk about this. So
he's got the statistics.
Right. So this is really interesting, actually. Let's talk about this, if my notes will come up. So when you look at the global VR market size, it was valued at around $16 billion in 2020, and it was expected to grow about 18% from 2021 to 2028. But standalone VR headsets were kind of leading the growth on that, mostly the Oculus Quest 2, right? Because in 2020, we had the Oculus Quest 2 launch. That sold 20 million units. Now, by comparison, the Quest 1 sold about 1 million. And here's one of those funny little factoids. Apple wanted to sell 800,000 Apple Vision Pros when they launched last year. And they wanted to sell 800,000. They sold about 300,000. So the Quest 2 sold 20 million by comparison.
That's crazy.
That's
crazy.
So one thing that I thought was really interesting talking about PC VR was you got to think about the library and the way that the library has been handled. And I think that that's the big shortcoming of PC VR is that Steam VR as a library has about, as of 2023, had 5,000 VR titles, over 5,000 VR titles as of 2023 in the Steam library.
How many?
Over 5,000.
I see.
But most of those are indie games. They're small experimental games, games in early access, games that, maybe they're designed for, maybe they're just apps, maybe they're not even, really used for virtual gameplay at all. Whereas the Meta Store, by comparison, only had about 200 VR titles in 2023. And I think that that's tripled now. I think that there's over 600 titles actually in the Meta Store, but all of those are Meta like authorized. It's like the Apple Store. There's no like little weird experimental. There's some early access stuff that you can get on your headset. Like I'm not saying that that's not the case, but everything is what do you want to say? It's much more polished. Polished is probably the right word.
It is now versus when it was, for sure. Absolutely.
Right. So there's because of the price drop on the Oculus Quest 2. Well, here's the funny thing, Dylan, is that most of the units that sold on the Quest 2 sold way before the price drop. Most of those sold at the original MSRP. They've not sold as many units since they dropped the price. And I think part of that's the timing is it, right? Because they didn't significantly drop the price until 3 years later. 2023 was the first, summer of 2023 was the first significant price drop. And then shortly thereafter, we had the Quest 3 got launched. So anybody who was looking to get into PC VR at that time just went with the Quest 3, unless they were just seriously on a budget. There's just not been that many Quest 2s sold if you look at the numbers compared to what sold in the first couple years. I have a theory, and I said this the last time we chatted about PC VR and Meta. I have a theory that the pandemic really pushed a lot of those sales, because if you think about the timing of 2020 and 2021, most people were at home. There wasn't a whole lot of outdoor activity. So when you look at why was the PlayStation 5 sold out for 2 years?
It was. You couldn't find it anywhere.
It was because of the pandemic.
Yep.
Because people were inside and they needed something to do. Switch sales. Why is the Switch like the top selling console of all time? Why was the PlayStation sold out for like 2 years? Why is the Quest 2 the top selling VR headset of all time? It's not because of the specs. I'll tell you that. Same thing with the Nintendo Switch. It's not because of the specs. The specs aren't doing it. It's because of timing. And you can look at that. I mean, that's just every market right? I mean, used car prices were up, home prices went up, grocery prices went up, everything went up.
Yep.
But people just needed it. They needed something to do.
We had a big issue, obviously, when COVID came around, because we had the VR arcade at the time, and I remember we were in a mall location, and we weren't allowed to be open, obviously, for reasons, but I think it did kind of catapult a lot of those consoles and the VR headset, more so than what it was before. And we couldn't even open up, even if we had opened up after. I think it kind of, people started to buy up the headsets, and then people were playing at home, and I think that kind of helped propel the VR industry, regardless. So
yeah. I want to go over some more stats on the PC VR thing, because I think that some of these things that I pulled up are really interesting. So one of the things was the complexity of setting up a PC VR system. So obviously, if you buy a Quest 2 or a Quest 3, you just out of the box, you set it up with an account, you're ready to go like 30 minutes later. A 2020 survey found that 43% of potential VR users were deterred by the complexity and the setup of a high-end PC. So either they don't have one, or they don't want to set one up to work with the VR system.
Well, you needed a kind of a higher end machine at the time, because you had to have, what was the minimum? It was like a 1070 or 1060?
1060 Ti.
Yeah, you needed one of the GTX NVIDIA cards to run it, or whatever the Radeon equivalent of that is. You needed that, and you needed to buy the headset. So you had to have the PC, and you had to have the headset, and it was like a combination of things. Then the other thing is you had to have the area to play in. I mean, people had the area, but I mean, you had to have your PC set up somewhere in an office.
Right.
You just aren't going to have it out in the living room generally. I mean, some people do, but most of the time you have your PC set up in an office, and that is not a very big spot.
Well, and you couldn't have it like, just at the edge of your bed in your tiny little desk that you're used to playing at. If you're used to playing World of Warcraft or whatever in your tiny little desk, PC VR requires, I think, what was the minimum for Steam VR? I've forgotten now.
I think it's a
6x6.
Oh, you 6x6, I think.
I think it was 2 meters. 2 meters by 2 meters was the minimum space that was recommended
for Steam VR, right?
VR, yeah. Because I remember our booths, the smallest booths that we ever had were in the 115 space, and those were 7x7 booths. And then these booths are the 8x8 booths.
Well, we needed the space. We were trying to figure out how to make it fit.
Yeah.
And we had to cut it. We had to cut it by to the 7x7s versus the 8x8s, because we really needed to fit. Well, we had a total, how many stations? 8 stations, and we couldn't quite get 8 stations if we went with the 8x8 floor space. But nobody has 8x8 space or 7x7 space in an office. Where, I mean, you go to a garage, you can take the Quest and go outside and play. It's not great, maybe, but you could if you had to.
You can play it anywhere.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, and that's the other real advantage, right, is that we were talking about this on the show last week, is that for me, in order for VR to progress, in order for it to make a difference and kind of have that phone to iPhone switch in technology, like it needs to change the interface. The problem with PC VR is that it gets turned into pretty much strictly an accessory of the PC.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you're using that PC for gaming or streaming movies or whatever, primarily gaming probably, but it becomes an accessory to the gaming apparatus that you have at home.
Right.
What Meta did with the Quest 2, and I think, at least they dipped their toe into the water on it, and what they're really trying to do with the Quest 3, and it sounds like the Quest 3S and the AR, XR integrations and capabilities, is they're trying to change the platform. They're trying to change the interface, because theoretically I can take my Quest 3 and I can watch movies on an airplane.
Yeah.
Theoretically, I can take my Quest 3 to the bus stop, and just sit there and browse online. I could turn on full color pass-through and walk around with it if I really wanted to. I wouldn't necessarily recommend walking into traffic with it, but you could if you wanted to.
Right. We were kind of discussing was it last week also, the Apple Vision Pro and people walking around, but that's not practical.
No, that's like fake marketing.
Yeah.
I remember at one point I saw somebody like in a Tesla Cybertruck, a picture, not in person, obviously, because it's not real. But I saw a picture of somebody in a Tesla Cybertruck with like the Apple Vision Pro on, and I was like, oh, that's fake. There's no way.
No
that
way.
would be such a liability.
Yeah.
There's no way the insurance would pay out on that crash.
I wouldn't take that machine out in public at all.
No.
I couldn't do it.
No.
I'd be so nervous that somebody would
Steal it.
steal it. Yeah, basically steal it.
Well, there's that too, right? Imagine walking around with like a $3,500 headset on your face.
Yeah. I wonder if Apple's got Find My Vision Pro options
Probably.
available on the
Probably
headset.
so. I mean, it's an Apple device, so surely you could just do
Maybe.
the Find My thing with it.
Find My VR headset. Yeah. I would say I've been pretty pleased though with the Quest 2. We have the Quest 3s in the arcade in the background. You guys can see that, but we were discussing the needs for what people need VR for, and we felt like the Quest 2 was really adequate for the most part. I feel like what most people want to do, they can do it on the Quest 2. The Quest 1's obviously outdated and kind of, on its way out or pretty much out.
Yeah, the Quest 2 or the Quest 1,
Yeah.
sorry, it stopped getting support, update support in August.
Yeah.
So it's officially not going to get any more support. We had somebody bring in a Quest 1 recently, and they had a hard time pairing it to their device. And I
Really?
was like, yeah, well, I mean, if the headset's out of date and your phone is now updated or your Meta app is updated,
Yep.
there's a good chance that it's just not going to work anymore. If it didn't work before,
I do wonder what it still runs to this day, what applications or what its limitations as far as apps go right now. So I know you could probably get on and play some things, but where do they put the stop at?
Surely there's a way to benchmark those things.
Maybe that's something we need to look into. Yeah, that'd be kind of interesting.
That would be interesting.
It's just hard to believe that the Quest 1 is kind of dated, but it does not have the same tech as the Quest 2. And it's still capable. I still think it's a capable machine.
No, see, the Quest 2?
The Quest 1, maybe just like, to maybe perform some
Maybe as an
applications.
accessory to PC VR. If you plugged it in
Oh,
and used
yeah.
it that way, then I could see you using it for that. But as a standalone, I wouldn't use it. I wouldn't mess with it personally.
Yeah. If that's what you have, that's what you got. Just don't go buy one.
Well, and the other thing too is there's little things about the Quest 1 versus the Quest 2 or the Quest 3 that make a big difference for some users. One thing that sticks out in my mind would be the refresh rate. Is that the refresh rate and the field of view on the Quest 1 is going to make it a lot more likely for people who are prone toward motion sickness to get motion sickness. And the Quest 3 is obviously better because it's got the higher resolution and the nicer screens, and it's got the pancake lenses and the higher refresh rate. But you can up the refresh rate in the Quest 2 using an app like SideQuest to make it more suitable if you're super susceptible to that sort of thing. So I think that's one of those areas where the Quest 1 is going to fall short, is that it just hits a ceiling before the Quest 2 does on almost everything.
I know we got a handful of people in the chat. Like, what do you guys run currently? Are y'all running PC VR or more?
Everybody's a Quest 2 user.
Everybody's a Quest 2 user?
If there is one single non-Quest 2 user in here, I would be surprised.
I personally use the Quest 2 at home as well, so.
The missus joined.
Oh.
What's up, the missus? Oh, the missus is gone.
Oh.
What else we got here? Oh, and the cross-platform play. That was another feature. Is that I think that Meta early on had a really closed ecosystem. And then once those developers and those games started opening up to where, okay, if you're on Steam VR and you're on the Quest 2 and it doesn't really matter, you could play Population 1 together or Rec Room together or whatever like that, then it seemed like all of those people just migrated over, unless they had some sort of weird negative bias toward Meta. That seems to be the only thing that really holds Meta back at this point from just like all-out winning and just beating the brakes off of all of their competition, is that there is just a negative stigma for some VR users. Because when you're just... Here's a question for you, Preston. Steelman the PC VR argument. If you were going to sell me, there's like, let's say there's a $10,000 sale on the line.
Oh, God.
Right? Like I can either take the Quest 3 or I can take the PC VR setup. That's best PCR setup that you could possibly imagine. How do you steelman that? Is it possible for you to make an argument for it?
I'm sure it can be made, but I don't know. That is a
Sorry, I stumped you.
yeah, you did. I'm trying to think of what, like the argument there for it. I think it really comes down to the person and the need. Personally, I love PC VR because I feel like I do have a little bit more control. But with, let's say, the Quest 3, I don't know that I'm losing that much control. So do I really care? Actually, that I don't have my PC hooked up. Recently, I've been playing more through just through the Quest 2 and on the Quest 3, and not going through the PC to play. And I feel like I've had a more enjoyable experience that way, not having to worry about the added hardware that I'm connected to. So I don't know if I had to. I guess if I had to really look into it, I think I'm very much a PC person, but I think the Quest 3 for me would probably be all I would need for my general day-to-day, because I don't know that I do enough necessarily just to warrant the PC VR aspect. I could get away with just the Quest 3.
Here's the other problem is that even if you wanted some PC VR applications, even if that was kind of your goal, or let's say 10% of your goal, 10% of the time I want to be able to plug this into a PC to play whatever it is. Mm-hmm. I've got some, okay, I'll make an argument for it. I'm an early PC VR adopter. I started buying games in the Steam library back in 2018, and I bought games in Steam VR in 2018, 2019, 2020, and then in 2021, I converted to a Quest 2, and I started buying games in the Metastore. But now it's 2024, and I kind of want to play some of those games that I had in Steam VR. Well, you'd go, well, you need a headset that can access those games in your Steam VR library that you can play. So there's your argument for a PC VR setup, like a HTC or a Valve Index. But the problem is that Meta made it so that now you can just link your headset up to Steam. You can just use Steam Link.
Yeah.
And so that's a non-issue now as well. So it just feels like Steam VR doesn't have anything that's purely accessible to them anymore. And we had that conversation last week about how cool like the Valve Index Knuckles were at the time that they came out, how like that technology just blew everybody away, because it was like, oh, you can reach out and grab things, and like I could see my fingers move in VR, and this is wild. Like I can't believe that we can do this. And Meta looked at that and went, that's cool. I bet we could do it with AI, like just predictive tracking and cameras. I bet we could do that with cameras. Right.
I know every time I jump in, I look at my hand thing, I do this. This is what I do. I just do that so I can see my hands move. I don't know. I think it's such a cool feature. I just love to watch my hands move in VR. Yeah.
I do it a lot when I'm testing the tracking on a camera, because the bottom two cameras won't, if they're not working, if one of the two bottom cameras isn't working, you can't move your fingers.
I see. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So one of the ways I'll jump into a headset, and it's like, okay, we're having some tracking issues, but I'm not getting a black screen and I'm not getting a boot loop. So I'll sit there and move my fingers, and if my fingers move, I know that both the bottom cameras work. So
it's a cool feature, and I know we talked about, with the extension of PC VR into the Quest 2. I think that really opened a lot of people up. I think. Now you got me thinking more about it, but you kind of like, just like hardware, it kind of gets dated. I do feel like if you have a headset that's older and it doesn't play those games anymore, because that's going to happen. I still think within the PC VR realm the longevity is there. I think you have a longer time playing those games versus, I don't know. Like I know there are some games, and I use the Quest 1 as an example, but Pop 1 you can't play that anymore. But I think if it's,
Is that right? They took Pop 1 down?
yeah, you can't do it on the Quest 1 any longer.
Oh, on the Quest 1.
Yeah, on the
okay,
Quest
gotcha.
1.
I'm sorry.
But I'm just saying, if I had a Quest 2 and they go, sorry, we're on to the Quest 3 or whatever, the next Quest 4, and now the Quest 2 is dated. I mean, it might be a couple years, but now I'm like, I have to go buy the next headset.
See, now this is a really interesting conversation. I want to segue just a little bit.
Here we go.
So, I love this talking point. The Quest 2 sold over 20 million units. The Quest 3 so far has sold like 1 million units. Theoretically, we're going to get a budget headset coming out here in, 11 days? The 25th, we're going to get a budget headset.
Yeah, MetaConnect's the 25th and 26th.
Yeah.
Still don't know what's happening on the 26th, though.
Yeah, there's nothing on the program for the 26th.
But
But
they
let's
said-
just say the 25th. We
Yeah.
know that they're going to announce something. They're going to announce lots of things. We know we're probably getting new AR glasses, but I am predicting, as a lot of people are, that we're going to get a budget headset to replace the Quest 2, because the Quest 2's been discontinued on the website. So if you go to Meta, you can't get a Quest 2 anymore. You can still get it from like third-party retailers and stuff. Like, so, Best Buy's going to have some and Target's going to have some, but on the website, they're not making them anymore.
Yeah.
And the idea is, okay, well, they're going to push everybody toward buying a Quest 3 and toward the Quest 3S or whatever this new headset is that they're going to launch. But how does that work out for them? How does that play out for them? Imagine, and because if let's just theorize that the Quest 3S doesn't sell 20 million units. Let's just throw that out there, because it's not going to. The Quest 3S is not going to sell 20 million units. And the Quest 3 is not going to sell 19 million more units between now and, let's call it 2026. Right? Because that would be 4 years from its release. 3 years from its release. Is released in 2023. By 2026, the Quest 3S is not going to release. It's not going to sell 19 million more units. So what do you do with that group of people who have 20 million Quest 2s that they are hanging on to and trying to use and refuse to move on to the next generation?
Yeah, they're going to have to. They're going to do what Apple does. They just move on. The iPads or the iPhones, you can't update them. I think they're going to force those users to move on to the next headset, because you can't, realistically, from a business standpoint, it's like you don't want them to hang on to that headset for so long. They need to buy another headset. You have to continue to sell the headset. I mean, it is 20 million units, but I don't think they're gonna. I mean, you're gonna have to push them. You're gonna push them away from that headset eventually.
I just feel like that's a really hard sell for me.
Well,
just economics of it. Is,
Go ahead. Well,
no, you go ahead.
I was gonna say, what's the shelf life on that tech though? It's like how long is it gonna be out for? Like, how long do you allow the Quest 2 to be out in the world? How long do you let it go? You quit manufacturing it. Everybody's got them. What is that? 5 years? Are you telling me in 10 it's still going to be around in 10 years? Probably not. Maybe 10's a little extreme. Maybe 3 or 4 years. 3 years.
You would really have to improve the feature set. And I think that's a big problem with the Quest 3. Is the Quest 3 and the Quest 3S, it looks like it's going to follow the same pattern of it's a nicer Quest 2. The Quest 1 was a revolutionary change from anything that had happened in Oculus or VR before. It was nothing like the Rift S. It was nothing like the CV1. It was nothing like the Vive models. It was totally different in that it was a standalone headset, and it had its little dual displays, and you could buy things on the store, and you didn't need a computer, and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And the Quest 2 took that concept and perfected it in a lot of ways. And then now you've got the Quest 3, which came out last year, and potentially the Quest 3S, and those are taking the successful things that the Quest 2 did, and again, just kind of like upping the ante in small ways. It seems like it's a hard sell for me to progress on. Like, let's say the Quest 4 comes out, and that's a better version of the Quest 3, and the Quest 3 is a better version of the Quest 2. But unless there is some sort of significant technological change that I cannot live without, like think about the transfer from like phones to smartphones,
Mm-hmm.
and going from like buttons to a full panel of glass. I didn't need a keyboard anymore to text fast because my full panel of glass allowed me to do whatever I wanted with that area. That surface area was now free for developers and for myself to use however I wanted. I think about like the way that Nintendo has played the game over the last like 20 years. Every time Nintendo has released a console, it has been a revolutionary jump with a whole different set of features from the console before it. You know, when you go from like the SNES to the GameCube, or I guess to the SNES to the Nintendo 64 to the GameCube to the Wii to the Wii U to the
Yeah.
Switch, like all of those consoles were completely and totally reinvented each time.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem that you get into with the Quest 3 or the Quest 3S or like let's say Quest 4 a year or two from now is the problem that Sony's having with the PS5 Pro.
Oh man, we could.
Who is going to buy the PS5 Pro? Well, if you got the money and maybe you don't have a PS5 yet, you know, like, well, I've got the money and I don't have a PS5, I'll go out and buy a PS5 Pro. Or maybe if you were a streamer, you know, and you played some console exclusive game,
Yeah.
which there are less and less of, you know, which is another big problem for Sony, is that their ecosystem is not same thing as Steam VR, you know, is like if your ecosystem's just kind of open and anybody can play those games on any platform, then you're not really selling the games anymore, which is what Sony always had going for it.
Yeah.
Nintendo and Sony have always had those IPs. They've always had those properties that they've been able to rely on.
That's a good point.
And if you don't have that anymore, then you've got to innovate. And so I think I have this concern that Meta is going to get stuck into the PS5 Pro situation where they're going to release the 3S thinking, oh, this is everybody who's got the... I think that they're thinking everybody who's got a Quest 2 wants to upgrade. And I don't think that everybody who has a Quest 2 wants to upgrade. I don't think that is the case because I think most Quest 2 users are pretty freaking happy with what they've got. It would really have to improve.
I think the part of it too is the you kind of talked about the intellectual property and apps and games that are available. I think if you want to shift them away, then you're going to have to find experiences or games that are super popular, like I use Population 1, but experiences that will gravitate you towards the next headset or the next console. You can't play this unless you have the Quest 3 or the Quest 4 because it has a certain thing. And you know, you throw, from a marketing standpoint, then you throw that, you give the Quest 4 away to those creators or those content creators, and then they're like, well, we're playing this game, but you can't play this game unless you've got it. Now you're kind of incentivizing those people that have the Quest 2 to kind of update their headset because they want to go to the next newest experience.
Yeah.
This is my thought.
But I do think that there's an economic issue at play here, which is that if most of your Quest 2 users are not spending a whole lot of money on their experiences anyway, like let's make an assumption here that let's call it 50% of the player base. Actually, we could probably look this up. I'm very curious about this.
What's up, Adelmo? Oh yeah, we are. We did talk
talking
about
about the
the
new
new headset.
Yeah.
We're
We
really
sure are.
kind of discussing like PC VR, and then kind of shifting to the Quest 2, and then kind of why change if you've got the Quest 2 and it does everything you need? You know, why upgrade to the Quest 3S or the Quest 3 or even the Quest 4? It's like, well, we were talking about the amount of headsets that got sold. So the number was, I think, 20 million units, and from when it came out. So how do you get 20 million people to switch out and go to the next headset? You know, is that a 3-year? How long is that going to take? You said, I don't think I'm going to upgrade. I'm happy with my Quest 2. I mean, I
That's
think
what
we
I was
agree.
just saying.
Yeah.
Yep.
I have a Quest 2 at the house. I mean, we have Quest 3s here in shop or in the arcade, and we've used them. I like the Quest 3, But realistically, for what my needs and what I do, I think the Quest 2 is fine. I really have no issues with it. I'm very happy with it. I mean, it's not an issue.
And that's where it's like it's an economic issue, right? Is that if most of your player base is they have an access point, and most of the things that they're enjoying on your platform, whatever that is, are free games. I don't play anything to play Poker Stars. You don't play anything to play Gorilla Tag. You don't play anything to play. What's another one? What's another free one? Rec Room.
Rec Room is
a free one.
Yeah.
VR Chat's a free one. You know, there's so many free applications. Big Screen's a free application.
Yeah.
There's so many free applications on the Quest 2 that you're not going to sell me on the games. Look at the Asgard's Wrath.
Oh, they gave that away, and I don't know anybody that plays that game.
No, and they build that as it was like a AAA title. Like, we've put so much money into this. I mean, they made a whole special thing about that when they launched the Quest 3. If you got the Quest 3, you just got that game.
I think we've got it. I've never played it, not once.
Asgard's. I'm curious now.
I'm not sure what Kai said. He said, I heard you can fix people's VR for free, but keep it. I'll give you mine.
I heard you can fix people's VR for free. I've never fixed a VR in my life.
Maybe it's a VR for free. I gotcha. We don't do it for free. You can send it in. If you go to the website, it is over this direction. You can go over there, fixmyoculus.com. You just want to get rid of it? I guess you could just get rid of it if you wanted to. What'd you find out?
I don't know. I'm trying to figure out how many people actually played this game. It was really highly rated. Got an 87 out of 100 on Metacritic.
Really?
Yeah, 100% recommended on OpenCritic. IGN gave it a 10 out of 10. But
I don't understand.
That doesn't necessarily mean that people are playing it. And that's a big difference.
I never played it. I had no interest in playing it. Bye. We'll see you later, Kai.
Let's see. Oh, well, I know how to do this. Let's take a look at what the most popular games on the store are.
Oh, on the app, in the MetaQuest or MetaStore,
and see where it comes in. So far, I'm down to number 26, and it's not shown up yet. Boom, 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 boom. It's not in the top 50 so far.
Really?
Not even in the top 50. You know what's funny is Gorn is in the top 50, and that game's old.
It's been around for a long time.
Resident Evil 4 is number 50, actually. That's
funny. Oh, really? Number 50,
that
Resident Evil 4.
It's funny. Here's another thing about the VR, and I think it serves my point very well, is when you look at the top 50 games on the Metastore right now, how many of these games have been around for 3+ years, since the Quest 2 launched or earlier?
Yeah.
Waltz of the Wizard, Blade and Sorcery, Beat Saber, Bone Lab, Job Simulator, Among Us, Pavlov, Zero Caliber, Thrill of the Fight, Super Hot, Creed Rise to Glory, Contractors, Drunken Bar Fight, Arizona Sunshine, 11 Table Tennis, Five Nights at Freddy's Help Wanted. There's another Contractors. There's another Five Nights at Freddy's. Walking Dead, Saints and Sinners. That's 12. The Iron Man Marvel game. That's
Seriously?
13. Real VR Fishing. That's 14. Richie's Plank Experience.
That's still in the top 50?
It's in the top 40. Number
Wow.
38.
It's a novelty game.
Another Five Nights at Freddy's game, which is just the Help Wanted. It looks like an expansion or something like that. Gorn, puts us at 16. And then Resident Evil 4. And then Warplanes, it looks like. Oh,
Yeah.
and Onward. So
Onward's on there too?
23 out of the top 50 games are over 3 years old.
That's crazy.
So it just continues for me to beg this question of, yeah, what are you getting on PC VR? What are you getting if you upgrade to the next meta headset that you can't get on your Quest 2? And how are you going to? My thing is that there's plenty of experience on the Quest 2. Why shove a new headset in people's faces? Well, because that's how they make money, theoretically.
They're gonna have to figure something out from their standpoint. Is like, how do I don't know. They're gonna have to figure a way to get people in new headsets.
Well, and that's the point that I'm trying to make. The point that I'm trying to make is that you can't just make a Quest 2 better. You have to reinvent the interface. You have to make that jump. Like when we made the jump from the Rift S to the Quest 1, that was a huge jump in our ability to move, and your ability to play other places, and your ability to take the headset traveling with you, or take it to the airport, or wear it in the car, back seat, whatever you wanted. The Quest 1 was a huge jump. How do you do that again? Because you can't just keep recreating the Quest 1 but slightly better.
Yeah, Apple.
Yeah, Apple.
I've had this iPhone. I'm not wowed by it like I used to be. A long time ago, I was like, this is a cool phone, but it's just the same. It's the same thing. But the problem is I don't use it to the max, right? I'm not a power user when it comes to my phone. I'm not a power user when it comes to the Quest 2 either. So
yeah. I agree with what Adelmo's saying here. Like the next headset generation, like maybe there shouldn't be a Quest 4. Maybe there should be something else. And that headset should be a different type of a platform that takes it to a different level. You know,
what could that be?
I don't know. But that's what they tried to do with the Quest Pro. The Quest Pro wasn't designed to be a gaming device. And when people looked at it, I think part of the problem is the user base's sort of reactions to these things. Is that the Quest Pro comes out and they think, oh, this is going to be like the best Quest 2 ever made, and it's like that's not what it was designed for. It was intended to be more of like a work device. It was like supposed to replace your laptop, and you were supposed to be able to like hang out with it on the couch. And I mean that's what the Apple Vision Pro wanted.
Yeah.
And the problem with the VR community is that every time the VR overlords, Meta and HTC and Apple and everybody else, every time the VR overlords decide, hey, we're going to try and push this medium in a different direction and give you guys something that's completely different, they'd go, the whole user base goes, well, what about Gorilla Tag? I just want to play Gorilla Tag.
Yep.
What about Poker Stars? I just want to play Poker Stars. Which leaves you in a weird position of, well, just take your Quest 2 and go then. Don't buy a new headset. Fine. Stay out of here. Stay out of our store. But you see it in the numbers, right? Quest 2 sold 20 million. Quest 3 sold 1. Apple wanted to sell 800,000 units. They actually sold 300,000 units. Total failure. Failure to launch. Because the VR base, it's a weird dynamic because the VR user base doesn't really want to move on from the gaming use, but they need to move on from the gaming use. It's like imagine telling somebody 25 years ago, you're going to have a phone that you can play games on, but it's not going to come with Snake and Tetris.
What?
Right. It's like, well, if it doesn't come with Tetris, I don't want it.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, but you could have Tetris on it, but you could do so much more with it.
Yeah.
No. If it doesn't come with Tetris, if Tetris isn't just in there automatically, I don't want that phone. I will only buy a phone that has Tetris on it. Because here was me circa 2006. I will only buy a phone that has a keyboard, a physical keyboard on it. I told myself that until I bought my first iPhone, and that was like in 2012.
What was? Do you remember what the who instigated you to do that? Was that me?
I don't remember. Probably. Because I loved that little. I had that little flippy one that was on the side, and it had the full keyboard. And then I had that one, and I had another one that was kind of like that, and then I got the Android S1. I can't even remember now.
Samsung Galaxy S1 or something like that.
No, it was just an Android phone.
Oh.
Android phone. It would have been like 2009.
They had phones back then?
I'm dating myself here. Android phone 2009. It was this one.
Oh, that phone? You had
Yeah,
that one?
I had that one.
That's wild.
It was that one. I don't know what the name of this phone
I don't know
was.
it. I don't know
It
what the
was a
name of-
Verizon phone.
Oh,
The Motorola something.
something. I was very jealous of. I was traveling for this company, and I had some associates that had the iPhone 4 or 4S, and they had such a great time on it. I was so jealous. I wanted one so bad because we would travel a lot, and they were always on their phones, and I wasn't. And I just wanted one of those iPhone 4s, and I ended up getting one, and then I don't know what I had before that. I can't recall what phone I had before the iPhone 4. I know I didn't have the 3G or the 3, but I can't remember what it was I had before that. I didn't have an Android phone. I think it was just a regular.
Apparently, this was the Verizon Motorola, and they called it the Droid.
That was
So
the
it was
Droid?
just the Droid.
I see.
But I had to have the keyboard. That's my point, and I refused to move on from it until I realized, like, oh, touchscreen really is so much better.
Yeah.
But as a late adopter of that technology, the iPhone came out in 2007, and I didn't adopt one until 2012 was my first iPhone. It's 2012, 2013 that I got my first iPhone.
Huh.
So I was a late adopter. I think my first iPhone was an iPhone 4S.
I see. We got a chat thing on YouTube. Anyone
Okay.
playing Into the Radius 2? I'm not playing Into the Radius 2. I'll look into it though. And then I know there was a thing in the TikTok chat too.
Oh, Dan shared the live. Thanks, Dan.
Into
I
the
appreciate
Radius
everybody
2.
that does share.
Well, they said how much would it be to do a Quest 2 controller circle
Circle
cover battery connection thingy?
Oh, most of our controller repairs are about $35 to $40. You can check out our website and kind of eyeball those things. The parts that you're talking about, though, just the little black cover that kind of goes on top of the controller and the battery compartment, those are pretty easy to do at home. So you might not even have to send that in. I've got tutorials on how to replace that battery compartment on our YouTube channel. So I would check that out and just kind of eyeball it, figure out if you want to do it yourself. If you want to send it in, you can. But if you want to do it yourself at home, you could probably do the whole job for like less than $20. So
It's pretty easy.
we did get a new chatbot feature on our website recently. I'm fairly happy with it. But obviously, if you go to our website and you have issues, just let us know about it before you frustrate yourself, because it is still a new chatbot, so it's still figuring things out. I cracked the top circle and the battery keeps disconnecting. Oh man, if you have if you get some damage on your controllers and you're not sure about what the repair cost is, you can always email us pictures, or you can make it TikTok or like a video and just tag us in it, because we'll see it if you tag us in it. And then it's just a good way for us to kind of interact with you. And are you guys still doing the custom faceplates for the headsets? Yeah, we have some custom faceplates on the website right now. We've not done one in a while, but I'd like to do one for autumn.
What are you thinking? There's a surprise.
I'm thinking pumpkins.
Pumpkin
Yeah.
faceplate. I
think
kind of
we
like
should
it.
do pumpkin faceplates.
Yeah.
For real. We'll do little jack-o'-lanterns. Actually, we've not talked about this, but I was thinking it would be fun if we actually did the carving. So
Oh,
instead
in
of
the
doing
headset?
black and orange, we'll just do an orange headset, or we'll do an orange faceplate cover,
Yeah.
and then just like have the eyes and the mouth cut out.
I can dig it.
Yeah.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'd like to find a way because I know we tried to do the cut the faceplate before,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like there's got to be a better way to cut it and not char it. I think when we did the cut on the headsets back in the day,
Hydrojet.
the hydrojet.
Baby.
I think I need to get a hydrojet.
Yeah.
They'd cut some fingers and things off.
Yeah. You won't catch me around one of those things. I like my fingers too much. I like how you guys aren't money hungry and actually admit it's cheaper to do it at home. Yeah. Well, I've said this for a long time on the channel. It's more important for us that people get their devices working. We're here as a resource and as a tool, which is why for as long as we've been doing this, we've been doing our best to get the information that we're finding out about the headsets and about the repair process up on TikTok and Instagram and YouTube. Because we're here as a resource. If people want to send it in, we're here to help. And if
Yeah.
you want to do it yourself, or you're a shop owner and you want to help facilitate repairs for other people, please go for it. So, we're big right to repair people. We've always been big right to repair people because we've always been in the electronics repair domain. Preston's been repairing phones and iPads and MacBook stuff for, gosh, going on 10 years now.
Has it really been that long?
It's been a long time.
No
When
way.
did you start working at Simply Mac? 2015, 2016?
Probably.
Yeah, so almost a decade. So.
Ugh.
But right to repair is one of those like important things for us. And, the other thing too is I think we've done our best to just understand the customer base, and that not everybody is comfortable with sending things into strangers, and that's cool. So what can we do to help people who aren't comfortable with sending into strangers? Well, we can facilitate the parts,
Yeah.
and we can facilitate the information. So a clear faceplate would be cool to see the internals. While we have talked about a clear faceplate, I think we need to. Preston and I have talked a lot about getting on the 3D printing bandwagon, because that seems to be
Yeah.
the only way to really do it. We've talked to some. It's not plastic molding, but it's form molding.
What is it called?
Vacuum molding.
Yeah,
It's got a term.
Yeah, I don't know what it's called. I can't
As
remember.
like how they actually form those plastic parts in like a vacuum mold, and they pour the plastic into these vacuum molds, and it makes the shapes and stuff. And we've looked into that, and that's like super expensive. It's
Vacuum.
insert expletive expensive, and vacuum forming, yeah. And just to get the molds made is super expensive. So 3D printing seems like the best option. We've worked with some 3D printer people to get some rings made, and they're okay. They're okay.
We can't ever seem to. It seems to me that anytime we ever contract anybody out to try to do some of the 3D printing stuff, we always have issues. The design is very. I don't know that I guess it is a unique design, but we can never seem to get a perfect form on the 3D printing. And I think it's because I don't know if it's the person we ask or the people who ask, but I know it's doable.
Yeah.
And so I think we were kind of talking about trying to accomplish the task ourselves, because anytime we contract anybody out to do it, it just does not ever seem to get done the way we like it, or at the quality of product we like. So
I think the truth is that it's probably not super easy, and 3D printing, like the actual art generation portion of that, I think takes some amount of skill, but I think it takes some talent and some passion too. I think you really have to care about what you're doing, like being a tattoo artist or being a graphic designer or being anything. Like anybody can phone in a logo and download a little app on their phone and put a gear behind some text and go, here's your freaking logo. And when you meet somebody who's really passionate about graphic design and has been designing logos for businesses and companies their whole life, they can do things that just make you go, how much money are you getting paid? Because it is not enough.
yeah.
And I think that the 3D printing community is the same way. I think that there's a whole lot of people that say that they're 3D printers or say they're 3D printer designers, and they really, maybe they like doing it. Or maybe it's just a little side hustle that they thought would be easy money, and maybe it is. But they don't really care. And I think we've met too many people that don't really seem to care and just kind of phone it in and rack up an hourly rate with us, which is really where the rubber hits the road. Is that I'm not going to throw $5,000 to have some novice designer, design me a faceplate that isn't going to sell.
Yeah. Well, who's going to pay the money for that?
Here's another problem too, is that the designs that we've had made, I think that some of them are cool and some of them fit, and some of them, they'll play the part. They'll fit the role. You can put them around a controller and go, it's okay. Are they durable? Do they add anything to your experience? Just as the business owner here, as somebody whose high priority is making sure that people's VR experiences are good, and that I'm not interacting with a bunch of angry customers who I've just sold a bunch of controller things that break all the time. It's important for me to know that I'm selling a quality product that adds to your experience and doesn't detract from it, and not even like I don't even want it to be the same. I want it to add something to it. So is there a way that we can create a 3D printed ring that's so much stronger than the normal like stock Quest 2 ring that you'll never break a ring ever again? That would be great. We've not hit that mark yet.
No,
not to my satisfaction.
We would like to get to that point. I think that's part of the direction we want to try to go in. But it is. I think it is challenging.
Yeah.
To accomplish that.
What's up, Chris? How's it going?
What's up, Chris?
Chris says hi.
If you haven't checked us out, we are on YouTube and we are on TikTok, and as of 15 seconds ago, we are on Twitch.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody's on Twitch, but we're
Did that
on.
just happen?
Yeah, I just activated it, so we'll see how well it goes.
Well, the good thing about 3D printing is the ability to use different materials. Yeah, we have experimented with some different materials. I really like the transparent PLA stuff just for the look of it. But again, durability becomes a factor because that stuff just seems to break apart when it's even put to a little bit of stress.
Yep. Well, we've talked about the durability on the controllers. If we decided to start print, we have done some prototype printing on the controllers with the 3D printing. But honestly, I don't know that I've put it to the test. I've not taken those controllers and thrown them against the wall to see how well they would survive. I'm assuming that the PLA that we've used is pretty durable. I don't know. I know there's different types, right? There's different types of PLA. So I don't know how the quality is versus what the Quest 2 has.
Mego My Ego says you're echoing.
Does it sound like I'm echoing?
It's not real bad.
It's not really bad. I don't know what the deal is with the echo.
It's better when you're close to the mic, I feel like.
Is that better now? How about now?
How about now?
I feel like I always have an issue with echoing. I don't know why that is.
I don't know either.
It's a thing. But
I turned the gain down on my microphone a little bit, so we'll see if that helps.
Yeah, maybe it's your fault.
Maybe it is my fault. Sounds the same either way.
No.
No.
My gain is down all the way now.
All the way.
I don't know what to say.
See, I can hear an echo, but I thought it was just me hearing you in real life and then hearing you on the computer. So maybe we've been messed up the whole time.
I don't understand. I don't know how to fix the problem. We need somebody to come over here and be our producer.
Well, what's funny is that microphone I don't think was echoing when we were in that room. It was your other mic that was echoing when we were in that room. So what the hell?
I don't know.
Is it you?
It's got to be.
Are you putting off the electromagnetic waves?
Yeah, it's my voice. Oh, yeah.
Yo, what's up, PZ Pro?
PZ Pro 09, what's happening? We haven't really talked about VR for like the last 30 seconds.
Mego, how did you come up with the nickname Mego My Ego? I want to know. Curiosity's killing me.
I think she did tell me this story, but I can't recall.
I couldn't even tell you the last time I had an ego. It's kind of sounded pretty good right now, actually.
Yeah, you can make your own.
Yeah.
Your own waffles.
It's probably if you can hear it off the computer, the mic might be picking up from the computer. Oh, well.
It's off. It's muted.
It's off. It's muted. Can you turn that all the way down anyway?
Yeah.
Just that. Just all the way down.
That's
all the way down.
I can turn you down.
Turn me down a little bit. Turn me down.
Turn me down.
What about now?
Well,
you need to talk straighter into the microphone.
The computer does not have a mic. It's a desktop, so maybe I'll turn it like that.
Yeah, now I can't hear you through that at all.
Oh, through here?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, how about now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know either. It was actually a friend from high school that suggested it. Yeah, so I've just kept it.
You just kept it.
Why did they suggest it, though? Was it just like a fun rhyming nickname, or did you eat a lot of Eggos in high school? I ate a lot of Twinkies in high school, but nobody called me Dan the Twinkie Man. They did call me Denim Dan.
He wore a lot of denim.
That stuck. Inactivity detected in your live.
Oh,
Live will end. Oh, I see.
we're active.
We're here. We're moving. We got the chat going and everything. The echo
Everything.
was gone for a second. So probably when you turned your mic down.
Oh well, yeah, because I wasn't really.
Is there a directional option on that? Can you make it so that it's just single directional instead of picking up sound from everywhere?
Yes. Let me see. I think it's on that.
How about
It's on
that's
there
it?
already.
We're troubleshooting in real time, folks.
Real time.
How's
About
that?
now? It was gone for a second, but then it was. Now it's back. I bet if I bring this down some. Okay. Maybe that's better. I don't know. It's got to be you, right?
It's
gotta
gotta-
be you.
I don't know.
It can't be me.
Who knows?
What notes
It's a bit better.
What are the notes do you have for what's the next talking point that you have?
I don't have any other talking points.
was
I was
it?
kind of enjoying taking the questions. Yeah, we kind of talked
Oh.
about PCVR as much as I really wanted to talk about it.
Heck yeah.
So, are you playing any VR tonight?
I might play some VR. It is Friday night.
Yeah.
And here we are. We're at so if you don't know, you're looking in the background is our VR arcade over in Arkansas. And that's, and in the back area, there's a shop, and that's where we do our repairs. So if you're not familiar with our location, we're actually getting ready to move. And, oh my gosh, there it is.
You need to talk straight into that.
Where's the front?
I assume that's the front.
Oh, is that it? Is that where we're at now?
That's better.
That's much better.
Have you guys ever played a Township Tale? No, I've never played a Township
I've heard
Tale.
Township Tale.
I've
I
not.
feel like
You
Have
know
you-
what I was thinking about getting on the Nintendo Switch is that Dredge. Have you heard of Dredge? It's not a VR game.
no,
but
I've not heard of Dredge yet.
it's like a you know what cosmic horror is?
No, I
Think
don't.
like Cthulhu and like giant monsters that are
Oh,
beyond your comprehension kind of a thing.
Yeah, yeah.
But you are a small fishing boat in the ocean. And it's like deep sea horror
In the ocean?
in the ocean.
Oh my gosh. It's
So-
oh, that's the what?
Yeah, like Eldritch horror fishing game. Yeah. And
That's
it
a
looks
thing?
it looks so good. It looks so much fun. And I'm not a big horror game guy, but there's something about the idea of like, oh yeah, there's tiny little fishing boat. Like think like the fishing boat from Jaws or like Tugboat
Oh.
Willie or something like that. And you're
I
just
see.
going around the ocean doing your thing, and then all of a sudden the sun sets and there's this gigantic anglerfish monster that's the size of Godzilla that is now coming after you.
Godzilla.
It just looks fantastic.
I do think I would enjoy. I don't like scary movies, but I think I would enjoy scary games.
Yeah.
There is some appeal to that. We have what's that game we have here? The Mansion, the Haunted Mansion. What is the game that we have that's
Affected the manor.
affected the manor?
Yeah.
I've never done the Gauntlet. Apparently, there's like a really scary level, but
One of the best gaming experiences that I've ever had in our arcade. I've had a lot of good gaming experiences, but
Mhm.
top 10 was Cosmo Dread.
you liked Cosmo?
I
Dread?
loved Cosmo Dread. That was such a good game.
Y'all did go through phases, though.
Oh yeah. I've been through a lot of phases. I played a lot of games I played way more games in our arcade than you have.
That's true.
How many games have you actually played in our arcade?
I played a lot
Let's
of games.
count them. Elven Assassin. I know that one.
Yeah.
You probably have done Richie's Plank Experience.
At
I know
least
that
once.
one. Beat Saber, Pistol Whip.
Uh,
Have you done Job Simulator?
have I done Job Simulator?
Have you played Job Simulator?
I've played kind of through it. Yeah.
What are the 4 jobs in Job Simulator?
You're a race car driver, and you're a chef, and you're an office worker. I'm just kidding. It was an auto mechanic.
Okay. All right. Okay.
And then I did play Vacation Simulator too. For a little
Okay.
bit.
Yeah. Vacation Simulator sucked. I hated Vacation
I
Simulator.
am surprised they did not do so hot on Vacation Simulator. Job Simulator still beats out Vacation Simulator. Everybody was so excited for Vacation Simulator.
I'm surprised they never did a Job Simulator 2.
That was supposed to be the Job Simulator.
I know,
2.
but like you could have done Job
more
Simulator 2.
jobs.
You could have just had 4 more jobs, and that would have sold like hotcakes.
Sorry, what was said here?
Vacation Simulator is tedious. Yes, I agree. If you do play that, Dan, you should try going out of the map bounds because giant ass sea creature goes after you.
Oh.
I'm definitely gonna play it. I'm kind of a Switch junkie. I like playing things on the Switch. If I can get on the Switch, I'll probably play it on the Switch.
I think he's right. Vacation Simulator was tedious.
It is tedious.
Because you had to go get the tickets or something, the tokens.
Yep, in order to access the different areas.
to the
Where
next
Job
area.
Simulator was just very straightforward. It's just do this, do that. You get to the end. You've done Arizona. You've done all the zombie shooters, right?
I've done all the zombie shooters, yeah.
Did you ever do Five Nights?
I did Five Nights. It
You
was
did
okay.
Five Nights,
I don't
okay.
think it's that good of a game personally, but that's just my opinion.
You've done most of the PvP stuff. You played Revolve.
Yeah.
You've played Ragnarok.
I watched you play the Talos Principle.
Talos Principle is such a good game. I finally sold Adrian on the Talos Principle the
I
other
saw
day.
she came in and played it. Yeah.
It is such a good game. I got stuck watching her play
Did you
the
really?
Talos Principle because it's so good. It's just like right out the gate, you're on this weird island with this Greco-Roman architecture, and God starts talking to you, and it's like, "You are my child, and I have awoken you. You have slept for 1,000 years. And you are the last of your consciousness." And it's like, what is going on? And then you start accessing the weird computer terminals that are around this garden that has no life at all, but there's these weird computer terminals with these weird diaries and journal entries and stuff, and you're like, okay, what is going on here? Is this a puzzle? Do I have to solve this? And it's like, no, this is the devil, and I am talking to you through my journals. This is the experience of the human existence. Don't listen to God, he's lying to you. And it's
how
like,
it was?
yes, and you're like,
Oh my
wait a second. And then God is like, don't listen to those computers. They have no idea what they're talking about. See,
up with
and
that
you're just
game?
like, I'm just trying to solve these puzzles, man. I just want to know how to get the keys and the puzzle pieces and get out of here. And in the middle of this, you're stuck. Like, that's why it is called the Talos Principle, is you're stuck in this philosophical, am I alive? Am I not alive? Was I ever alive? And you're caught in the crosshairs between this like fake computerized version of God and this fake computerized version of the devil. But maybe they're fake and computerized, or maybe they're not. Solve puzzles. And it's just it's just a nutty experience. But it's so fun, and the puzzles are so clever. I had a lot of fun with it. You know what I've never done in VR is the Myst games.
It is available.
I got
remember it coming out.
obsessed with the Myst games like 10 years ago. And at that point they had, so obviously there's like the original Myst games that came out in the 90s. And then they did a remastered version of Myst 15 years ago, something like that. And so I got into that version of Myst. And then they announced that they were gonna do Myst on the Quest back in 2020 or something for the Quest 2, and I was like, oh, that sounds so cool. But we didn't have Quests back then. We had the Quest 1s,
That's true. Yeah.
but it was like, it was basically inaccessible for me, on a personally, and I just never got around to playing it. But it just seems like a lot of fun. It's definitely up my alley, and I just need to do it. Adelmo says, if you like RPGs where you got to collect material and craft stuff, I suggest you playing Township Tale. Yeah, I'll take a look into it.
They were saying something in the chat a minute
It's a lot
ago.
better.
Oh,
Who
sorry.
says it's a lot better?
Have you
Any-
heard of the game Megaton Rainfall?
Yeah, I did
Had
look
you?
into that, huh?
I had not heard of that game.
It's kind of like a evil Superman game.
Oh,
Yeah, you've got powers, and
it's not VR. It's just.
it is VR.
It is VR.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
VR.
okay.
Yeah. We had a demo of it for a while,
We
or
did?
I downloaded a demo of
Oh.
it very briefly, but we didn't have a license for it.
I
So
guess-
there was a lot of those games that just never came up on our radar because we couldn't get them for the arcade, and so we just never played them.
There were a handful of games that we really enjoyed. There was what was that one where you were the archer and then the swordsman?
Turn the gain up on your mic
and
just
the
a little bit.
that game we couldn't get it anymore. It was what was it called? Shoot. You could cast spells, and then you'd be an archer, or you could be a warrior, and you'd fight goblins.
Oh, Trickster.
Trickster. Man,
Yeah.
whatever happened to that game?
I don't know.
It just,
Just fell apart.
yeah.
Yeah.
There were some good games out there that could have been good if they just continued support with them, I think.
Yeah. Well, it was almost exclusively it's a PC VR version on VR, and you can get it on Steam. Yeah, so that's why we never did Megaton, is because we never had a license for it, and it wasn't on Quest.
I guess
But
I need to
Trickster
look at
that was a Springboard VR game. That's why we never had that. Is that was I think you could get that on Steam VR, but I don't know that ever came to the Quest store.
I don't even know. I don't know that I ever saw it on Steam VR.
It was on Steam VR.
It was on Steam
yeah,
VR?
Confident.
I just don't recall. But that's years ago.
Yeah.
There's been so many games that have come through the arcade, and then when we were in Montana for the arcade, I don't know how many games we had there. And but it was always the same 4 games people wanted to play. It was Super Hot, which is still a great game. People love that game, and that game is not graphically intensive. It is such a fun game, and it's such a fun solving puzzle game, and it fills multiple wickets. It's a action game, and it's also a puzzle game. And then Job Simulator, what we were talking about, and then Arizona Sunshine was super popular, and then what's another one everybody likes to play? Maybe those are the 3 that I'm trying to think what else we had. I don't know. Those 3 were super popular.
Yeah, I feel like Arizona Sunshine, Beat Saber, and Super Hot
Beat Saber, that's what it was.
were our top games for a long, long time.
Yep. Beat Saber's still popular to this day, and it's still not it's the same thing. It's still not graphically intensive.
Mm-mm.
You can upgrade some things or like modify some things and make it, probably more intensive, but I think for the most part, it circles right back into that conversation. It's like, why do I need to get the upgraded headset? I don't need to get the upgraded headset because I can play table tennis just fine.
Yep.
On my Quest 2.
Yep.
And you can play Poker Stars VR. I don't know that we'll ever switch out. It really is just a thing for us. So if you can't see from here, but we have some windows on the arcade on the other side of the cameras, and so people are they're waving at us while they're walking by. I feel like I'm on
the
Today's
news
Show.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. But I don't know. It's been an interesting ride with the arcade because we've got to see what games have kind of come and go, and those 4 that we just rattled off are still around. People still like to play those games.
Yeah.
I just can't believe it. They're well done though, and I think there's a lot of. I'm not trying to dog the development of games that are out there, but I think there's a lot of crap games, a lot of trashy games.
They're saying your Echo is back again.
My Echo's back. Oh no. I think he's using.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say.
I don't know either.
Maybe it's my voice.
Maybe so. I don't know.
We might have to get something more professional.
Maybe. Is there a way to do noise cancellation or anything on this app?
Yeah, you
Little
could
compressor
probably,
or something?
There might be. We'll have to just see how it goes.
Okay. We'll play around with it.
I turned the gain up, so I don't know.
Mine's isn't echoing. Dan,
I
can you
know.
guys switch places to see if it doesn't echo? Yeah, let's do that. Let's switch
You wanna
places.
Switch places.
Yeah. We're going to switch places.
What if it is me? It's probably me. You go that way. All right. We're moving and grooving. Okay. Hey, what's up, everybody? Hey, what's up? Can you hear it in the headphones? Can you hear the echo? Okay, I'm in. This sounds really good.
Yeah, it sounds great. What about now? Can you guys hear me echoing?
I feel like.
Maybe Preston's just talking too loudly.
You think I'm just talking too
I
loud?
don't know. I don't have a good answer.
Okay. I think we're gonna have to get another Yeti or something. Maybe I'll just sell that one.
I do like those Yetis. Actually, you're quiet, Dan? Okay, I'm going to turn my gain up. It looks like I'm registering on the
Yeah, where it says the X Hyper.
Yeah, I can
mic.
I can see myself registering.
I don't know what else to say. We're always having audio issues.
We've said everything that we need to say.
Yeah. This does
But-
sound pretty good. I
Oh,
like
yeah.
it. Yeah, it sounds great.
I love that Yeti.
I think I'm
We
going
should
to
just buy. Kieran has one. She has a black one,
Oh, she does?
and she said she didn't realize that they had a white one
Uh-huh.
when she bought it. So she wants a white one, but she already had a black one. So we
Yeah.
should just buy her black one, and then she can go buy herself a white one.
I see. Okay, I
And then
guess
we'll
we'll
have
do that.
matching black ones.
It works for me. I was just going to
It's
go steal
echoing with-
Connor's.
It's echoing with you too, so it is maybe just this microphone.
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't have a good answer.
Okay. Well, we can call it a night.
Yeah, this was a good. I like doing this format.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's weird because I feel like I want to talk in this direction.
Yeah.
I feel like this is where the conversation is.
When I look here, it looks like I'm looking at you, though. If I look at the monitor,
If you look at the monitor.
yeah, it looks like we're looking at each other.
Interesting.
You see how it looks like we're looking at the monitor?
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe not.
Does it look like I'm still looking at you though?
Yeah, see, I feel like you're looking at me.
I feel like I'm looking at you when I do like this.
Oh, it says it's echoing. Oh, okay. Oh, never mind.
It's echoing with me too. All right, folks. Well, thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
Thanks for hanging out. This has been a nice little stream. We've talked for a long time.
We
so
did. We talked for about an hour and 12 minutes, and it's still counting. So,
If you haven't had a chance to check out our YouTube channel or our TikTok channel, and you're watching us one or the other, please do the vice versa and go check those out. We did launch a new video earlier today on microphone replacements. So if you're looking to resolve issues on your Quest 2's microphone, new video just got posted. So please go check that out.
sweet. Awesome.
All right, thanks guys. We'll see you on the next one.
I'm going to grab that. I'll be back. We'll see
Grab
you
it. Grab it.
I'm gonna hit stop. I'm gonna hit stop on TikTok first. Whoop. And in live. Thanks guys for hanging out. And on YouTube.